Welcome to the Product Boss Podcast, where we're dedicated to helping product-based business owners turn into revenue-generating, successful, happy product bosses. I'm Jacqueline Snyder.
And I'm Nina Kunlo-Cetep. Together through digital courses, coaching, and masterminds, we've helped over 50,000 students from startup to multi-million-dollar businesses scale their sales while blending in their dream life.
It gets lonely out there in the product business world. We fully believe a business shouldn't be built alone. There's room at the top for all of us.
So let's get scrappy and creative together, Product Boss, to be profitable, make more sales, and grow your visibility.
Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hey friends, it's podcast recommendation time.
This month, we're all about listening to Another Bite, hosted by John Dick, Jory Monroe, Leslie Green, and Ariel Boswell, which is brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals.
Each week, they break down episodes of everyone's favorite business television show, Shark Tank. No kidding, this sounds like the most amazing podcast because they offer their own unique thoughts, spin-off companies, critiques, and even talk with some of the folks who pitched the sharks and lived to tell the tale. I will tell you, Nina, this sounds like me just in general when I watched the show.
Yeah, absolutely. We really enjoyed one of their most recent episodes where they discuss Glow Recipe and how they have built a customer-first community in the skincare industry through opening up that two-way communication channel between them and their customers, which, as you know, for product-based business owners is key.
Listen to Another Bite wherever you get your podcasts. Hey, everybody, welcome back to another awesome episode on the Product Boss. And today is going to be a really special episode because we are sharing multi-stream machine student spotlights with you.
Yes, we love to kind of shout it from the rooftops because we know that our students, they tend to not shout it from the rooftops for themselves, but our whole community is about celebrating your wins, encouraging each other, and really showing it can be done in your own way in the community so you're not feeling so alone. And we're so excited to share those stories with you.
And I think, one of our most popular posts online is she's not your competition. She's proof it can be done. And so many of you have said, thank you for sharing these stories with us. It helps me see that whatever your mindset is or reasoning that you think it's not possible for you, but then you hear these stories of fellow product-based business owners and you're like, I can do that too. So we have a lot of new people here in our community, a lot of new listeners, and you might be thinking, what is multi-stream machine? Well, multi-stream machine is our signature program. It's for more platforms, more sales, and more profits. It's a do-it-yourself program, and it's one of a kind for product-based business owners. And it teaches you how to make more sales on more platforms so you can 2x to 4x your income and build a stable and thriving business without 2x to 4xing your efforts. And we are going to show you that's possible in today's episode.
Yeah, we're so excited. So let's jump right in.
Hi, friends, and welcome to another multi-stream machine student spotlight. We are ecstatic for you to meet Christina Guy of the Hotel Sheet and hear her story with her husband and their partnership and all the things that have happened for them in, I think maybe the last year, but I'm unsure of the timing on it.
Right. I think in the last year, and put your socks on and get ready to have them knocked right off because this is truly an incredible story. So without further ado, we're going to pull Christina up. Hey, Christina.
Hey.
Hello, my friends. So you're live with us in New Zealand. What time is it there?
Oh, so it's 10 o'clock in the morning. So sweet as. Yeah, perfect.
Well, perfect. And so New Zealand, there's been a little bit of flooding. So if there's anything that happens with internet, we were saying that might be the cause. But welcome. We're so excited to have you. And thank you for doing this student spotlight with us.
No, thank you for having me. So exciting.
Yeah. So tell our everyone that's watching live right now, tell them about your business. What is the Hotel Sheet?
Okay, so we started the Hotel Sheet mostly about 17 years ago under a different brand name because we wanted to create a story and everything's woven for us in Portugal. So my family lived there. So we called our business Villa Mariska because we thought, oh, it's so romantic. Then we realized as an online business, because it was part-time for us and sort of still is, no one could spell it. No one could say it. It made no sense to anyone. It was romantic but useless. So 6 years ago, we rebranded, literally from something romantic to something for some people very boring, the hotel sheet. The hotel sheet was always our bestseller. People understand what it should feel like, look like. And then that's what we've been doing. And ever since we changed that, that's where we started to see some growth. And then when we joined you guys, that's when it became totally crazy.
I can't imagine that story.
In a good way. And that's great. I love that you started out with that story, because a lot of times we start our businesses and we have these romantic notions in our brains about, why we name them a certain thing. And it comes down to, you have to connect it for your customer. So if it doesn't make sense to your customer, and sometimes it can feel very like pragmatic and practical when you're, changing from something romantic to the hotel sheet. But honestly, a hotel sheet feels very like, in my mind, it evokes something different, right? A little bit of quality and luxe that that we associate with that too. So I think it was a great change.
Yeah.
So
it was a no-brainer. It just made selling a bit easier.
Yeah.
So 17 years of this business in business with your husband, Ben. And what so when did you go full time into the product-based business? Like, because you said that this was sort of a part-time side hustle for a little bit.
So we actually still have a secondary business, which used to be our core business, but we wound that down. Ben was getting mental health issues. He was becoming really unwell. We're in the ad game, so agency work is crazy. So we shut down our offices and moved home mostly about 6 years ago. That's when we changed our brand, but we still have our agency work. We still have a little bit with our agency. So they cover our rent and part of our salaries. And then everything that we make from the hotel sheet is reinvested back into that business.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay. So you're not new to business. You've been in business for 17 years. And did you join Multi-Stream Machine a year ago, or how long have you been inside?
Almost pretty much a year ago. So we joined, we joined, I think it was when you did your bestseller challenge. That's when I found
that's
you.
A year.
So about end of Feb. Ben was skeptical. We've done something similar to this when we were in our agency game. It cost us a fortune. So anyone who thinks that Multi-Stream Machine is expensive, 24 years ago, we did something similar, and it was in US dollars around $8,000 per person.
We need 24 years ago. We need to raise our prices.
But if you think about that 24 years ago, that's probably like a $15,000 investment or something. Who was spending that kind of money back then?
Back then, agency people.
You were, right? They didn't even have internet back then, not like they do now.
We didn't. And so it was all at you went to a hotel for 3 days and you did this block course, and then you tried to implement that for 3 months. It was very disjointed. It didn't, look, some of it worked. And obviously, since we've done the modules, it's like, remember when that guy was telling us this? But actually, the weird thing for me is you speak my language. When we went to this other course, Tom is wonderful. Like, I love this guy. He was great. But it's very business orientated. It's very speak man's language, if that makes sense. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way at all. But I found it, wow, I know I didn't do well at school, but I actually feel like I'm never going to be able to implement any of this that you're telling me, because it seems so over my head, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
you guys,
it does.
Easy peasies, lemon squeezies, love it.
And fun.
It does. It's intimidating. I think for a lot of us, especially creatives, I used to say that all the time as I was running my other business, was I always wished I had, and funny, Mina, I manifested you, but I wish I had a partner that had a business degree that, would tell me how to do business. I didn't understand the difference between like gross and net income. Like, for some reason, I couldn't catch those in my head. And even I worked with, and I've even worked with CPAs and stuff like that. Even a woman, the first woman I had worked with as a CPA that I first felt like she was speaking my language was she simplified explaining like a Roth versus a Roth IRA. Like, she simplified tax lingo that my head would stop. listening. So I do think, and that's something that Mina and I are very conscious of, is like, even though Mina has her master's and bachelor, or her master's in business, and we both have our, bachelor's degrees and all the things, it's like making this language that feels relatable, that our brains don't just shut down and feel like, I don't know what that means, so I'm out. So I'm glad that it spoke to you.
I mean, I just think that we talk how we talk, so for example, like I'm not trying to talk in a different way. I'm not trying to talk in a simple way. I think though that when you meet people and they can connect with you, it's because they talk in a certain way, and they, like I was saying earlier, it clicks in your brain in a different way, so it's not like I'm trying to only do the fundamentals or the bare bones or I hate to say
you're not dumbing it down.
Dumbing it down. I'm not. I'm just talking how I talk. And I think that is really, the thing is that sometimes I think you get in different settings and you're just like, why do you have to explain it that way? But that's literally just how they talk,
Yeah. And I think it's really important that you continue doing that, because honestly, it just made it so easy.
Yeah. So, I'm glad.
Yeah. That's why you'll never hear us talk about like net and gross.
I still have no idea, and like you say, this is not my first business. I mean, it's my first product business, which is really different. And that's the other reason why we came to you, because I'm in the ad game. I've been doing media and, creative for what feels like 2 lifetimes.
Yeah.
If I got 24 hours to sell, I can sell 30 hours. That I'm really good at that. I'm half Asian. I crack the whip. I'm all of that. But obviously Ben gets burnt out, which makes sense. And so going to a product business, no idea. I just assumed, it'd be, I can transfer these skills. But actually it wasn't as simple as that. And I think that's also what took us so long. Just finding you guys was amazing.
So being in business for that long, having the skill set, and you found us in Bestseller Secrets Challenge. Why did you both decide? You said that Ben was skeptical. So why did you decide to make the leap into the program?
Because I knew nothing about a product business. And I think the first thing we did in that challenge was, find your bestseller. And it was like, okay, well, we already sort of knew that, our classic hotel sheet was our bestseller. And I think you mentioned this in a podcast recently, was every time we go to a show, someone will say to us, can you bring in blue sheets? Can you bring in gray sheets? Bring in green, because it's the latest color, and up until then, we would have gone, you know what, we actually need to bring in more colored sheets. And things like that. Color costs more for every business because there's more processing. So it meant that if we were going to go down that route, we would actually have to spend more money. We can't keep going wide. So when I heard that, it was like, actually, these are the first people who make sense to me. Mm-hmm. You're talking about products. I get it. And that's when it was like, look, Ben, we need to, it's not 15,000 New Zealand dollars. So all of those things really help.
It's a deal.
Yeah, it's a deal.
Ben and I, we don't go out as often now because we're not in the ad game. But in the past, we'd go out to a fancy restaurant, and Ben is always the first person. If he's there and he thinks it's too cheap, he will find the owner and go, you need to put up your prices. And I'm not saying you should do that, but we know that you guys are offering, I'm not going to swear, but a heap of value that if you haven't done courses in the past, you wouldn't know. Yeah.
I mean, it's true. I would wink too, but I can't wink. So
yeah, I can only wink on my right eye. Not this one. The sexy way, the pirate way.
So definitely, if you don't, not knowing anything about product businesses, not understanding your bestseller, knowing our bestseller and just staying focused on that is just a game changer.
I think that one of the things for sure is that when we are out there alone in the world, we think that businesses do it a certain way because we're looking at big businesses or we're looking, we don't see all the things that are happening. And the thing that I really like is even you, who's really a seasoned and experienced business owner, you really found value in the fact that we speak to small product businesses. When I say small, I mean 50 employees or under, so you're considered a small business if you have less than 50 employees. And yeah.
Yeah.
And
Or
you
if
do
it's just you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you do it differently, right? Because, you're not going to be able to compete with, I don't know, like Bed Bath and Beyond or something where they have like 50 different sheet colors. That's bigger people who have more resources and more money. You, my friend, have to do it in a different way because you're a small business that is going to need to make money and reinvest if you need to and make as much money as possible during this time because you have lesser resources. So
yeah. And so definitely not going like crazy. It's awesome because it actually stops us getting really distracted. Like we just went to the Frankfurt Trade Fair. Oh, so many shiny things. So many shiny things, and that's when Ben and I were like, if the girls are here right now, what would they say? It is that step back, and because it's easy to get really carried away.
Oh yeah. It really
it's
is.
so hard as creatives, and it's so hard when we see those opportunities because everyone that's watching now, like we obviously are like cued in enough that we're like, let's make something, let's create something, let's fill a void or a niche. And then we know that maybe we have that superpower in other ways. So it is, and I mean, this is the same for Mina and I. It's really hard sometimes to stay focused. But then when you do, which you've done in the past year, it also is so much more freeing. And we'll get to where you were this month. But let me ask you pre-MSM, because again, like I was going to, you've been in business. You said you know nothing about product, but you were in business for a long time. So what was your revenue like prior to MSM?
So to give you an idea, was when we quit our advertising, moved our business to home, and when Ben said we actually have no business, what are we going to do? Because at that stage we were living off all our savings. So, for the first 2 years of coming home, it was a bit scary. I think we were doing something like $1,000 to $2,000 a month, and we were doing that consistently for maybe 6 or 7 months. And we had engaged a SEO company. We were doing lots of Facebook ads. I mean, we were spending huge amounts of money and getting no return. And so one of our biggest clients in our agency days was exhibitions. And Ben was like, I am not doing a face-to-face because he's, even though creative, he's very introverted. We did our first face-to-face and that was our first real change in our business. So we saw a massive uptake there, but we were hugely underpriced. So we were selling pretty much everything at cost because we were thinking we just need to get cash flow in. So let's just do this crazy sale. And then we spent all the money going back to Portugal, which didn't help. And so we never made real good gains. And we were sort of, then the following year, I think we may have done $50,000 worth of sales in the year. And then COVID hit us. We started to do a lot more emails, which was helpful, but still not getting the traction that we needed. And then literally when we found you guys, the one thing that you said to us was do more communication and to look at the things that you want to track. So for us, it's conversion rate because we got a low conversion rate. So we're looking at that. Doing upsells at checkout is awesome, but we ran out of product. So we did it for 2 months thinking that people weren't going to take our upsell because when we're face-to-face, no one wants to buy extra pillowcases. Offer them at the cart, can't keep up. We sold out 200 units in something like 6 weeks. So, yeah, so that was amazing. We try not to discount as much. We try to add value. So all of those little things have lifted up our average cart value. Our conversion rate is becoming a little bit more steady. So yeah, all of those things we would.
She says a little bit more steady.
A little bit
know
more
what's
steady.
happening.
We can't even tell you the percentage change. It's going to blow your mind.
A little bit more
seem
steady.
like a lot to me because it's not, yes, it's double my income, but when you've been chatting to other MSN students, it's like, yeah, they've 4 times their income or 4 times their month. It's like, well, we've only kind of, but I guess that's partly because it's different figures, maybe.
Yeah, but here's the deal. I mean, let's take this time to reflect for you because I think you are moving forward so fast and your things that are happening so fast. So back in 2020-ish, you said you were about $50,000. In 2022, you signed up for a multi-stream machine.
A year, right? $50,000 for the year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we've been working with you for a year within the program. And I've heard that you've had some multiple months that have generated a crazy amount of revenue. So let's people are going to people's jaws are dropping right now when they hear this because they're like, what do you mean you're not growing?
Well,
at their pace?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's shout it from the rooftops and brag. And then this is recorded so you can go back and watch and really take a minute to breathe it in and be proud of yourself of what you've done.
Okay, so we did your accelerator program, which was, again, we loved. And when we did the face-to-face, which I think was mid-September, you had said, what are you aiming for? And I think I said 80K. And you were like, is that your best, better, or, whatever that thing is? And I said, look, 100K would blow our minds.
So a year or a month?
For that month, for the month of September. Right. So you said to 100K. And Ben was in the background listening. He's like, she's put it out there. Let's do it.
What did Ben say?
Never gonna do it.
He said bad words.
Side of the mouth talk.
But so we made our first 100K. We just got there, but we got there. It was like, oh my God.
So you hit it.
So we got our first one. Then Ben was like, you know what? Why don't we try it again? So we knew we had some shows, so we tried it again. So we got another 100K, which was, we've never done back to back. Now, we know that November is our biggest month in the year. It outdoes December usually for us because we've got Black Friday, people are already buying for Christmas. So we did our third 100K month, and that was just under 140K.
Oh, wow.
Mind blown. And then Ben was like, you know what? December. We're not going to be here for all of December. We left the country, I think, something like the 10th of December. Our Christmas cutoff date was the 14th. And whilst we say it was 100K, we were only $200 off the 100K. So we're calcifying.
Oh my gosh. Let's round up $200.
40,000 extra the month before.
Okay.
So jaws are dropping.
That's 4 months. September, October, November was 140. December was, 99,800. Okay. Yes, this is an average of, way more. It's even more than 100,000. And then for January,
4 back-to-back $100,000 months from a person who just 2 years ago had a $50,000 a year company. Now we're in February now. So what was your January like? What were you doing?
It was
80,000.
30,000.
And where were you? Were you at the computer slaving away? Like what was happening for you?
We were in Portugal. So my family live in Portugal. So since COVID, it's the first time I've been able to see them in sort of 4 or 5 years. So we were in Portugal. We saw my team in Portugal who weave for us. So we were not by a computer. January, it was the first month besides saying Happy New Year to, our community. We didn't send out one email. Now, for us, our customer acquisition is, listen to my big words, just don't ask me to spell it, was we do paid television advertising. Well, we would never do this, but we actually have, it's the channel that shows like Flip and Flop, whatever it's called, all those home sort of renovation programs that you get in the States. So that's on our channel here. It's a cheap and cheerful channel. We spent $5,000 in January. And we would say that most probably, if we're being kind, 60 of that came from television advertising.
60,000?
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Dollars.
So I did the math for you based off of what you said, and it was 5 months in a row. The average, the run rate, so for all of you listening, is $104,000 per month. So for 5 months in a row, I mean,
Christina, can you do February looks like. Do this. Do this.
And high five.
No, turn your hand. Give yourself a pat on the back.
Yeah. Look, honestly, it is insane. Like
it awesome. Is insane. It's not. It's mind blowing.
I have chills all over my body.
By the way, you call that a 5-bagger in bowling. I just learned that the other day, so I wanted to share that.
What do you call it?
A 5-bagger. So if you get 5 strikes in a row, you know how everybody's like, I want to get a turkey that's 3 months in a row. Yeah. And 4 is like a 4-bagger, and 5 is called a 5-bagger. So that's just a fun fact for all of you in bowling that you can think about. Your run rate of $104,000 every single month for 5 months. I mean, you're a $500,000 business already, and it's been 5 months.
Hey friends, as a product-based business owner, you're probably just starting to feel a little more rested, a lot less burnt out, and you're ready to use this slower season to work on your business.
Exactly. It's the perfect time to be working on your business instead of in your business, so that you can make sure you're well prepared for your next busy season.
So as a product-based business owner, it can be challenging to make sure your business and your team are aligned on a shared mission and goals for this year.
But with HubSpot CRM, you can keep your marketing, sales, operations, and customer service experiences in sync and on one powerful platform that grows with your business and leaves your competition in the dust.
Now, it helps you capture leads, boost sales, and engage customers, all from one powerful platform. Tools like a unified customer contact record, help desk automation, and customizable reporting make it easy to ensure your business is running seamlessly.
Which means you can spend less time managing your software and more time doing what matters most to you, connecting with your customers, designing or making products, and fulfilling orders.
Learn how HubSpot can help your business grow better at HubSpot.com.
You know.
Hey friend, I'm going to interrupt this episode for a second because I have a really important question to ask you, Product Boss. Have you ever noticed how some people in the product space are just known for something? It's like their customers know exactly what to seek them out for because their products stand out that much because they've become known for something. So for all my 90s kids out there, think Juicy Couture tracksuits or the Nike running shoes or even Nespresso coffee machines. Meanwhile, you may feel like you're cranking out products left and right, but nothing is landing. Am I right? And we have to let you in on a little secret. Successful product bosses know that in order to truly scale their business, they have to focus on what's working. It's not about making more products and throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping that something sticks, right? More is not more. More is just draining your bank account. More is just making things that are sitting on the shelves not being sold. Because what it's really about is being known for something and going all in on those products. If you're wondering how to do that, well, we're here to help. This is exactly what we've helped thousands of students do in our free Bestseller Secrets Challenge. And we'd love to invite you to join us inside of it. We're going to help you uncover your best sellers so that you can go deep instead of wide and maximize the opportunities that are already right in front of you. We want more money in your pocket. We want more profit, okay? And this is how you're going to get it. So guess what? No more doing all the things to grow your sales, no more endlessly creating products, and no more wondering and guessing what your customers want to buy, right? Imagine being really focused. All that ease. So it's time to tap into your best revenue opportunities. It's 2023. Let's lean into what's working in your business so you can stop doing all of the things. And again, we want to invite you to join this free challenge that starts on Monday, February 13th. So head to bestsellersecretschallenge.com and you can get signed up for free. Again, head to bestsellersecretschallenge.com and we'll see you inside. It's insane and it's
Yeah.
amazing. And you were in
Yeah.
Portugal with your family having
Yeah.
fun and you learned, um, do you think like what would you say though? Because other people might think to themselves, because again, everybody comes up with reasons why this isn't going to work. So they might be like, well, I can't advertise on TV. So like
No.
what was it for you that shifted back, getting us to the point that you got to these $100,000 months? Like what were those couple tweaks that you made that sort of started
Emails.
that ball changing? Emails?
Yeah. So we, again, and when we were in the agency game, we would say to our customers, you need to email once a week, twice if you can. But when it becomes your own business, we're saying we can't do that to our customers. We don't want to bump. We're a small business. We don't have a massive list. Most we've got active, about 3,000 people who are truly active, but we've got a 10,000 list, right? The other 70%.
Mm-hmm.
Still
having a $500,000 business run rate of 1.2 million, and a 10,000 person list is not gigantic.
No. But we did lots of emails. So we would do a launch, as you would call it. So we would always start on the Thursday. That's when we announce it. For us, we've tested different days. Thursday's the great announce day for us. Sunday morning is a really good long email where people might learn a bit more. We get a really strong Sunday, and then Monday's always the end. Today's the last day. If you don't go in today, that's it. So we do 3 emails for a little campaign, and we most probably generate anywhere between 7 to, depending on the product, 12K for very little work, like no work. As far as I'm concerned, our life has changed from doing 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. That was our business module. That's how it was back in the day. Yes, I still do 7 days a week because I love what I do, but I love this business. But I might do 3 hours of work a day, if you stretch it out. It's pretty easy. Ben's rarely doing a full day's work anymore. It's been insane. It's
so if we told you a year ago that you were going to be making $100,000 a month, 5 months straight, and that you would be working 3 hours a day, would you have believed us?
Most probably not.
I can't even believe it.
I think Ben would be very skeptical.
Yeah,
again.
Totally.
In the background saying something.
Yeah, he's so used to just working all the time. For us to make, we call it throughput, and that's what you get to take home. We call it throughput. For us to make $50,000 worth of throughput in a month, he is working every day that I can sell. It's a lot of profit for us in the ad game. So it's been totally different. It's totally changed.
I mean, it's given you so much freedom too. So it's like when you look at it, it's like you really do get that time back because you're, it's not like you're working. So a lot of times people think the more product I make, the more revenue I'll make, right? And that is just not the case. If you have focused action and you really learn about queuing in your pricing, the photos, the inventory, the shipping, and in your case, you actually really dialed in your visibility, your marketing, right? Emails, even the television, I want to bring that up because you didn't do that until your 5th month of 100,000. So for all of you that are thinking, oh, I don't have the resources to do that, neither did Christina, right? And it
was really cheap. So you might find that there's some type of national station, because we don't have regional stations here, or your regional station. We had no idea that we could get 200 spots, because that's roughly what we buy on downtimes, for $5,000, and that's a lot of visibility.
It is, but you also have to be able to fulfill on the back end. So, for example, you have proven that you can get those big orders, you can fulfill them very quickly, and that you can do it at a rate where it's not going to break your business on the back end because your systems are set up.
Yeah. So the first thing that Ben insisted that we did, thank God for Ben, was get a fulfillment house. So our shipments come in from Portugal. They do all our stock take. They have the warehouse, and they do all my shipping. Because there's
Amazing.
no way that I could do 300 orders or 200 orders in a month by myself anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing,
and I think that's, go ahead.
Sorry, you go. No.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, with the thing for us with the our classic hotel sheet was, whilst we do just have white sheets, we're looking wide now. So our sheets come in the duvet cover. So same fabric. No one's having to, if you know that fabric, you know the duvet cover. We do a flat sheet. So some people don't want fitted sheets, right? Because they're old school. And actually flat sheet sets last longer because you can rotate them. So there's, going a bit old school can save you some money. So, we're trying to educate people on being a bit greener, saving a bit more money. The flat sheet sets keep selling out, so I can't keep up with those. Who would have thought that people didn't want fitteds, but they don't. So that was a way for us to add products, but actually not change the formula at all.
That's right. A variation of your bestseller, because your bestseller is white. You really, some people might be like, oh, white is not enough. I need to have more colors. I need to, have all this variety. And they think that that's the variation, but the variation actually is the same fabric, and you're giving people different sizes and different kind of functionalities of that same fabric, So I
Which
think
helps
that's
in production.
wonderful.
Yeah, like from a manufacturing standpoint, you don't have to test new materials. You don't have to test new color washes, color coming out in the wash, and being known for these white sheets, which are never going to go out of trend. White sheets are never going to disappear, and it's easy to refer the hotel sheet. And so you're easily referable. I think that, I was trying to remember what I was going to say earlier to the production point, but it's just, you have stayed focused and driven, and you do have that marketing arm. But, for people who are watching and listening right now and they're thinking, okay, but I am a maker. So, Christina and Ben were able to scale because they're manufacturing. Each of you, and when you come into Multi-Stream Machine, each of you have a different path to profit. You all have different products. You all have different ways of making your products and fulfilling. I mean, we're sharing these stories with you this week so that you can see different versions of them. And so this is just a husband-wife couple that have decided to manufacture a product, that have chosen not to fulfill. And I think the cool thing for everyone to listen to is there are just other ways of doing business and other opportunities for you. And you all get to hear from each other what people are doing, so that it just expands your mind just a little bit to see it different than how you know it to be or what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And I think that, when thinking about, because the reason why I love this story too is because you were very experienced, even though you said you knew nothing about product, but you had a product business and it sustained and survived and thrived for many years, and you made $50,000 a year, and then you jumped it up to that because you took the actions to do it. Right.
Yeah.
So it's just a tweaking in everybody's mind about the numbers. So for example, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, oh, well, I've only made, I don't know, let's say $5,000 a year. Well, do the math in that instance, right? It would be $10,000 a month would be the same exact math, because it'd be double in the month, So if my math is correct, which I'm pretty sure it is. So, okay.
Never know with us. But and I think, yes, exactly. So it's some people might be saying, well, I wish I was at 50K. It doesn't matter. Just know that it's possible. I think that's what we want these student spotlights to share with all of you, that it's proof it can be done, that it is possible, that it can look different for people. You're in New Zealand, right? You manufacture in Portugal. We have a global community of students here, and all that. But I have a question about Ben's quote. What was Ben's quote?
So Ben, like I said, was very skeptical because, boy, I love him. But so he wanted, so I am going to swear because this is his words.
Okay.
If you want to double your sales, product boss the shit out of it. Because you can. Right? And for anyone who is sitting on the fence, I remember when I first, was looking at some of the other people who came and shared their stories. And it was like, oh my God, they're at 100K. I'm nowhere near that. It just seemed like it look, don't get me wrong. We knew we would get here one day. That wasn't the issue. I just didn't expect us to be doing that 5 times in a row this year. So for us, we're still in our financial year. So we're still calling it this year. We've still got 2 more months before we end our year. We're 100, we're going to be still another 100K up most probably. And then this following year, we're going to be doing that all over again.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Oh my gosh. I love that quote, by the way.
I know.
And I love that, you convinced him and you convinced each other to take that leap of faith together and join Multi-Stream Machine. Though, it's obviously we need to raise the prices. So now we've changed our prices to $15,000, everybody. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Not true, but
I mean, I'm not saying you should do that, definitely, because I think also
I'm kidding.
Everyone's like, you get hate mail. They're all like, because of Christina.
It's also it has that weird perception of I really did not. When we went to that other course again, we knew nothing about business. Ben and I started. I mean, he started his graphic design business with his brother, who then went elsewhere to do other things. I knew nothing about business. I'm one of those school dropouts. So I just assumed that this course was going to save our butts. And to a degree it did. But I did come away feeling like we still know nothing about business.
This is the other course.
Yeah, the other course.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we knew a lot of that stuff. But honestly, the shift was just so fast paced when we came to you guys, when we did MSN. It was just, crazy. And so easy.
What's nuts is that you told us, I love that. And it's nuts because you said that what did you do different? And you're like, I went to the email module, right? Like for everybody in their path to profit, it's something different. It's a slight tweak. And it's unbelievable. And obviously, like, you gathered other information and you have the community and you feel more confident and all those things. But I want everyone to hear this, that like this investment into Multi-Stream Machine doesn't have to be, you have to listen to the whole course. You have to implement from the very beginning to the end. And then you might see your revenue start to grow. It's like test and try different components of it, go through the path to profit, figure out your systems, price correctly, and then test something new. And see the results. And that's, I think, why Mina and I, when we first created this some years ago, we knew what we liked and we didn't like. Like, we didn't want to have to go through an entire course, because I know with my follow through, I'll never finish anything. But if you give me enough points on something I want to learn, I can implement quickly. So we wanted it to be like that for everybody, no matter what their learning style is. So I'm so glad that it worked so well for you.
Yeah, it was really easy.
Yeah. I'm so glad to hear that, because it's like, oftentimes I read multiple books at a time, but I will pick certain pieces of that book that I read, and I don't chronologically read books. It's like I pick certain sections. And the way that Multi-Stream Machine is for everybody is that you get to pick which modules you want to go to. And then you also, the way that we've, and we stand behind every single module. I believe that you can make the cost of the program back in a single module.
Oh, totally. We made it in our first email.
Yeah. Right.
In your first email.
And then because we made $9,000 in our first email. Our first little launch, we made it short, $9,000 just there. It was like, okay, well, we've just paid for it.
I didn't know that part. One email, $9,000. Amazing.
Yes. And then, and I was going to say, but 9,000, whoa, I have to like get my bearings after that one. But I think that, also when you look at Multi-Stream Machine and you look at the bonuses, because I don't know when you joined, but I'm thinking it was the time where we had email bonuses as well, right? I don't know if it was or not, but we have bonuses every time that we always know that our bonuses are meant to get more money for everybody's pockets that do the action, right? And so it's really exciting to see who did what in each particular one, because sometimes it's just like, it's different for each person, their result is different, or it hits in a different way. And it's just really awesome to see that you did it through email and, and pricing
Because we interviewed Brooke, and Brooke did it through pricing, and she, just by raising her prices, made her money back. So everybody did one small tweak, and they found their investment back. So, I mean, you
But the
both are
reason why
incredible.
everybody does pricing too, and I want everybody to listen, that it's not just a matter of raising your prices. The reason why most people go through pricing first is because at the end of the day, we want you all to be profitable, consistently profitable. Otherwise, you're just kind of what Christina was doing before, giving away your product at cost, which is no point to that, you know? And so we want to make sure that you have profit built in order to grow your business. And so that's why you'll hear it come up quite a bit when we're talking about student stories.
The other bonus that I love, and I'm not everyone's going to take it up because it was the pay in full. So I get that some people won't pay in full. I do the 90 days every 90 days. So I do something weekly, you know, because I plan my week, block out my week. Batching has been something I call it blocking. It's always been something that I've done. I learned that from the other course. But the 90-day roadmap is, I love it. It's one of my favorite things. I block out a whole, you know, like a half day, listen to my favorite music, and I plan 3 months. I mean, I plan a year, and then from that year, I can see this is the 3 months that I need to do. So my whole year's already planned, my television, my emails, that's done. And then I use my 90 days.
I mean, how many people out there wish that they could plan and not be so reactive but more proactive, right? And that's why, you know, 90-day roadmap is the bonus for Pay in Full. Like you said, there's no other way to get it. And we teach it live, and you all get the recording when you sign up, you know, whenever you sign up. But I think, I mean, yeah, it's something that people have said is like a game changer and also is worth their entire investment. For our friends out there that are watching, and when the doors, you know, are officially open, and a lot of people say like their spouse is on the fence. So I need to speak to my husband, my spouse, my partner. Like, so you were in that situation with Ben. So what advice would you give people? Like, how did you get Ben over the fence?
Ben. So for us, I mean, we both knew that we didn't know anything about a product business. It wasn't getting the traction that we had anticipated. It's very much that thing of, got a website, it's up, the pictures are okay, they're good enough to go, you know, where's the traffic, you know, so what are we doing wrong? I don't even know how to price. So we already had a few of those things in our head. And then when I did that free challenge, it was telling me all those pain points that Ben was already talking about. So all I had to say was, well, they're telling us that they, you know, we can get rid of the 5 pain points that we're talking about. And they've got solutions for that. And so Ben's very solution driven. You know, if there's a solution, we already know that it's great value for money because we've already paid 3 times that in the past, or 6 times because there's 2 of us. So we already understood that there was massive value there. And from our point of, you know, and that is that same thing of, Ben's a great learner. He knows that the moment you stop learning, you're never going to keep going forward. So all of those things are just, you know, they're always in the back of your mind. And I'm a true believer of, you ask the universe and somehow, you know, it arrives. As long as you're open to see it, it will arrive, you know, but you have to be open to see it. So I'm a true believer in that.
So
I love that so much. Yeah. Agreed. And when you do look at the ROI, I mean, it has paid for itself, you know, however many times over now at this point. And then actually, I didn't realize that you paid for double. So when you said it was $8,000, you paid $8,000 each person, you're saying?
Yeah. Well, it was 15,000.
This is not for our course.
Not for our course.
No, yeah. So it was 15,000 New Zealand dollars 24 years ago per person.
Per person. Oh, 15. Okay. Okay.
So that works, I think that works out to be maybe, I don't know, like 11,000 US dollars per person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. I mean, and we've been told that. I mean, we have testimonials like our Jenny of Sipping Stream said, you know, she paid, like some people have said, I paid like $10,000 for a coach and didn't even get this. Right. So we know that a lot of you have been burnt out there, that you've worked with people. And what we know is this worked for our own businesses. It's worked for thousands of product-based business owners now globally, right? You're in New Zealand, Canada, the UK, I mean, Spain, like we have people all over the world. And it works. Like, let's stop making the excuses as to why it's not going to work for us and start to think of the possibility of what could happen if it does work. So for our friends that are thinking about joining next week when the doors open, or if you're listening, if this is on the podcast and the doors are already open, what would you say to them as they're kind of considering whether they should do it or not?
Don't hesitate. Like Ben says, if you want to double your sales, product boss the shit out of it.
That's going to be a mug.
So, honestly, it's so from my point of view, when I saw your challenge, I was hesitant because it's like, these are all not all, but there's candle makers. These are all makers. I'm not a maker. So that actually made me stop, because it was like, well, how, maybe it's not going to work for me. So if you are a maker, it works
it works for everybody. So neither Jacqueline and I, we're not makers either, but we know that if we can help makers, that it can even help makers. They have an added complexity because they're making their production, right? And so if it's even helping them, then for sure, absolutely 1,000,000% it will help manufacturers, and people who don't have to actually make their
brick
own
and mortars.
Yes.
Retailers. We have people who are bakers, one of a kind artists. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
This group that we have, and that we were able to capture so many. But it really is, though, what the core is that most of us are bootstrapped. We're small businesses. We wear all of the hats. We have big dreams. We're not surrounded by other people that are entrepreneurs like us. And we see bigger for our lives, and our product businesses are the thing that's going to get us there. And so I think that's the core for our community. So there's no excuses as to what you make or how you make it that this won't work, because we've shared maker stories and we've shared manufacturer stories and cafes,
artist stories, custom
artists, one of a kind, all of it. So thank you. I'm so grateful. I love that we've gotten to know you and work with you and Ben, and thank Ben also for that quote. So tell our community, do you ship outside of New Zealand, or is it only in New Zealand right now?
We do New Zealand and Australia. We did ship, and we have had a couple of customers who are happy to pay for shipping to America. But since COVID, we've had a lot of empty boxes just arrive to customers in America. So we've decided to stop that because it just becomes a little bit challenging.
Yeah.
So we do, at the moment, it's just New Zealand and Australia. We will bring America back again when everything sort of steadies.
We will help you with that.
Yeah.
So tell us how we can follow you. And we have a huge community in New Zealand and Australia, so let them know how they can buy from you.
Yeah. So you find us online, which is www, if you still need that, thehotelsheet.co.nz. So yeah, and if you have any questions, I'm always happy to help.
And if we want to follow you on Instagram or social, you're not on there?
Well,
no, you don't need to be. Yeah, you don't need to be.
I know.
I just want to say that.
Yes, and when you said that, that was one of the first things that you said, I think, in one of the challenges was, you don't have to do everything. You don't have to be everything for everyone. And that was like, thank God. So look, I do have an Instagram handle. I think it's the Hotel Sheet. That's it. We don't.
I think it's a Hotel Sheet, and they've just made $500,000 in the last 5 months. You don't need social to be successful. You just need your own path to profit, your ways of communicating with your customers, ways of selling. I am so glad that you don't have a social media account right now. So just prove it to people. It's possible.
Yeah.
You're proof that can be done without social, right? Yeah. Which I am proof of that as well. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone's different. You got to find your own groove. I really believe in that too. Whatever floats your boat. If you love social, do it. Yeah. It's not enough.
Yeah, but you didn't need it, right? So you've acquired customers, you sell to them, you use email, you have other versions of visibility, and you're getting customers with SEO and all the things to come to your site and convert. So this is just proof again to my friends that, depending on the way you're going to go about marketing, and we teach this inside of Multi-Stream Machine, is what is your path to profit? And it can look different for everybody. So I love that you didn't have a social media account. Perfect.
I mean, we do, but we don't do anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't drive the sales.
No.
Yeah.
Thank you, Christina, for being on.
So much.
Thank you for having me. It's been a joy. Thank you. And thank you for everything you've given us. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Do it. People, do it. Yeah.
Yes, do it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Christina.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here and listening all the way through the Product Boss podcast. If you love our show and it has helped you in any way in your business, would you mind doing 2 things for us? Subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode and leave us a review. Reviews help other product entrepreneurs know that this is the place to be to grow their businesses and realize that they're not alone. And we know that you all know that a 5-star and honest review helps you sell more products to more people. So you know that your reviews help us reach more listeners around the world. Remember, what we give is what we receive, and we are all about helping each other in the Product Boss community. We are all in this together. We would be so appreciative of you if you could take the time right now to subscribe, leave a review, and even share this episode on social or someone you know so we can impact more lives. And remember, subscribing means that you will get notified each time we release a new episode so you never miss a thing. You have helped us grow and climb into the top 10 of all marketing podcasts, and together we can keep climbing. Thank you, friends. And remember, there is room at the top for all of us.